Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch scale C-3PO Walgreens exclusive action figure. I've been trying to find this one for a couple of months and I hadn't been able to find it locally, and Walgreens wasn't putting it online either. So over the holidays we were out of town visiting family and I was able to find 3 of these guys at a Walgreens store, and that was kind of cool because I got to pick out the one with the best paint operations, and more importantly I finally have C-3PO in my collection, so very happy about that. And of course, this is the original trilogy 3PO. Previously, we have looked at the Force Awakens 6-inch version of C-3PO. This is essentially the same thing, except you get the gold arm and the silver lower right leg. Packaging is the same 6-inch style packaging we've seen before. You got a nice render down at the bottom of the character. The side of the box gives you a look at C-3PO's profile. There is no numerical designation since this is an exclusive action figure. And at the back, we get some information about the character. C-3PO is a droid program for etiquette and protocol. Over the years, he was involved in some of the galaxy's most thrilling battles and is fluent in more than 7 million forms of communication. It was 6 million forms of communication during the original trilogy, and then in Force Awakens, I guess they upgraded him so that he could speak 7 million, which is pretty insane. There's the top, there's the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of time, get C-3PO unboxed. When we come back, we'll take a closer look at C-3PO. Alright you guys, now here is 3PO out of the packaging, and he looks really good. As I noted with the Force Awakens version of this figure, I was kind of on the fence as to how I was going to feel about it, because I wanted vac metal like a lot of people did. But after I got the Force Awakens version in hand, I really liked the way that they did it. I mean, it definitely looks metallic, and it definitely fits in with how 3PO appears in the films, because most of the time he's not like super shiny or anything, only when he gets cleaned up. Otherwise, he's generally pretty matte looking. And in that sense, the coloration that they went with translates very well into action figure form. Proportions of the figure are just right. What you're seeing is exactly as we saw before with the Force Awakens version, except for some slight differences in coloration and detail. The physique is great proportions, definitely in line with what we remember seeing in the movie. Unfortunately, no accessories of any kind are present, but he does have a good little bit of articulation. And 3PO says he's ready for his close-up, so here he is. And once again, great sculpting by Hasbro. Some of the earlier photos kind of indicated that it looked a little bit weird. Luckily, the end result is quite great, and I'm really happy with it. I mean, it's C-3PO, and it's got a great sculpt. And I mean, it just looks dead on in my view. Really got to commend Hasbro on that, because they don't always get it right, but when they do, a lot of the time it's a fantastic end result, just like here. The eyes look great. No unevenness there. When I was looking at these guys at Walgreens, I had 3 to pick from. Some of them had the eyes that were kind of off or mispainted. This was the best sample that they had, and I think it looks good. And the rest of the body looks fantastic. All the details you would associate with C-3PO. And you can see that the arms are very nicely detailed. The hands are very nicely detailed. And it just looks really good all around. He does have some black on the palms of his hands down there. The wires are very nice here in the torso. Just very nicely done all in all. And again, I really like the reflective nature of the paint. I think that it really works well on this figure, even if it's not vac metal, which I have found in the past seems to discolor and kind of turn kind of silvery on a lot of my 3PO figures. Basically painting it the sort of color ensures that isn't going to happen, so that's very nice. Now he does have the silver leg, which is accurate to the original trilogy. He didn't have the silver leg in the prequels nor in The Force Awakens, so very specific to the original trilogy. Peg holes underneath. Aesthetically, it's just a marvel. In terms of articulation, it's the same as we saw in the other figure. So you get a ball joint here at the head, and it enables you to get a pretty good range of movement. I think it's pretty adequate. Here at the shoulders, this is something I missed last time, was that you do get a swivel up here at the shoulders, but you also get your ball joint here at the under shoulder, I guess we'll call that. What happened was on my other figure, I thought that it should have moved, but it was just very stiff. I didn't work it out enough to get it to swivel, but you do get a swivel there, so that's a nice touch. And again, the ball joint, it gets a pretty good range of movement. It is a little bit awkward because there isn't a joint here at the elbow, so you just kind of got to play with it in order to pose him however you like. It takes a little bit of work. He bends and swivels at both of the wrists. They both go the same way. And here at the torso, you do get a ball joint It works fairly well. Ball hinging at both of the hips. Now, he doesn't do a whole lot of a split. There is some restriction here at both of the hips because of the way that the plastic is formed, but you know, you can make him sit. He goes forward quite a bit. You also got swivels here at both of the thighs, so that's very nice. You get bends at both of the knees, and then you get your typical joints here at the ankles, along with rocker swivels. So all in all, very nicely articulated. Only thing that maybe could have added was maybe the hands. Maybe articulate those fingers so you could grab something like a comlink. But other than that, I think he turned out very well. Here's a comparison of the Walgreens exclusive C-3PO along with the mainline Black Series Force Awakens version of the character. And like I said, the sculpts are almost identical. One thing that you will note is that the midsections where you see all the wires are different on both of the figures. The sculpts are actually different only on those parts. The wires look a little more streamlined on the Walgreens version, whereas the mainline version, they look a little more contorted, a little more erratic and messy. But other than that, every other piece on the figure is sculpted exactly the same. Once again, the coloration on the arms are obviously different. You get the red arm in the Force Awakens version, as well as the silver leg on the original trilogy version. The rest of the coloration looks pretty close. I kind of feel like the original trilogy version looks a little more pale for some reason, like maybe just not quite as reflective as the Force Awakens version, but overall they are pretty close. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Star Wars, the Black Series, C-3PO, 6-inch scale, Walgreens exclusive action figure. All in all, you guys, they did a phenomenal job on 3PO. Like I said earlier, I was kind of concerned about how this figure was going to turn out. It didn't look too great in those early photos, but ultimately, it's become one of my favorite 6-inch figures for the Black Series. I really do like it. I think that the sculpt is terrific. It looks exactly like 3PO did in the films. Coloration is quite great. I really like the way that they painted him, giving him that reflective sort of quality. The silver leg looks really nice, making this original trilogy specific. I'm happy about that, because that is my 3PO of choice. And the articulation and movement all seems to be pretty well integrated into the figure. I wouldn't have mind seeing a little bit more articulation, but I think that he has what he needs. Although I do think that some sort of accessory should have been included. Like with the Force Awakens version, there's nothing here, and it just kind of makes the figure, which is already a little bit small for a 6-inch scale figure, since 3PO was a little bit short, feel kind of bare. I wish there was something thrown in here for us. But that aside, I am really happy to have this in my collection. It's nice to have a original trilogy 3PO to go along with my R2-D2 to place with my other original trilogy characters. All in all, I highly recommend this to you. You're a fan of the 6-inch line or a fan of the original trilogy, then I mean, you really need 3PO in your collection. There's really just no other way around it. Alright my friends, if you've enjoyed this video, please do give us a like, please subscribe, let me know your own thoughts down in the comments. Be sure and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter where we talk a lot about Star Wars action figures. As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in, and until next time, bye-bye.